All right, so if you haven't seen me before, my name is William Cabral. I am what I would consider a marketer, business guy. I've been doing lead generation since 2017. I started off in a marketing agency, and one of the most interesting types of clientele I ever worked with were realtors. And realtors are an interesting bunch because I still never forget the split test that I did. It was here locally in Edmonton. I had two realtors, one of which was north side Edmonton, the other one was a bit more west. And I ran a campaign for them and gave them both about 100 leads using Google Ads. And then about a month later, one of them comes back to me while I'm working this job and says, William, these leads are trash. They suck. I quit. I'm not going to be using your service anymore. Thank you. Goodbye. And then the other agent comes to me and says, William, this is the best investment I've ever made. I'm going to hire another agent. I want to double my ad spend this month. And then so I believe at that time I must have been like 20 years old or 19 years old, and I was just perplexed. I had no clue what business was. I was just some kid who literally learned how to do Facebook ads from some guy in Australia by paying him $800 US to learn how to run Facebook ads. And here I was about less than a year later working in an advertising agency. And I had no clue what was going on other than to think that, one of these people are lying to me. That's kind of what was going through my head, is one of them isn't telling me the truth. And years later, eventually after COVID, I ended up getting a real estate license. And I knew that my online leads worked, but I had to work with a salesperson who actually knew what they were doing. And that's the topic of this video, is why do agents suck with online leads? Why do agents fail with online leads all the time? And it's simply because they don't actually know how to do sales. So you see this big online space with online leads, and you probably, if you're a realtor yourself, you know people who are doing very, very well with online leads. And so you might be thinking to yourself, okay, if, and to be fair, for every person who says that online leads is great, there's probably 10 or 11 that say it sucks, maybe even more than that. I would argue that probably 95% of people hate online leads and don't like online leads, which is also why something like 87% of agents fail in the first 2 years. It's why a majority of agents suck at real estate. To be frank, I'll be really honest with you, if you think about industries like the Greater Toronto area, there is almost 100,000 realtors there. I don't know, realtors always tell me it's a different number each time I talk to them. And a lot of it just churns year over year, and it's probably like 5 to 10% of realtors who are doing 80% of the business, and they all know each other, right? And that's typically how it is in a lot of industries, to be fair with you. But to be honest, that should give you a bit of an indicator of something that's going on here. And it's the fact that people don't want to learn how to do well at sales. I think a lot of realtors go from being something like a referral agent for a year or 2 or 3. They do 1 to 2 deals per month on average throughout the year. And then all of a sudden they get into online leads and they find out that they actually can't do business with these people because there's no rapport being built with them ahead of time. Referrals are easy because if you get a referral, that person's essentially already sold to you. The person who referred you said this person's great. All that know, like, and trust is already built with them. But if you don't have any of that, you now have to start from the bottom. And I think in 2024, there's really 2 main ways that people can get leads online that are really, really scalable and, in my opinion, a good idea, especially if you're a new agent. Number 1 would be online. That's why I'm such a big proponent of it, doing things like Facebook ads and Google ads. And then number 2 would be TikTok. I think there's a huge still opportunity in things like TikTok and Reels. But I like to say choose your hard, because both of them are very, very difficult. If you're gonna do TikTok and Reels, sure, you might not spend as much money, but you're gonna spend way, way more time. And if you do online leads, you're gonna spend more money, and you'll save all your time, because you can really leverage your time way, way more by having a marketer do all the work for you. So back to the whole point of why people suck with online leads, it's simply just because they don't want to learn how to do sales. And the thing is sales is the highest paying skill set, probably next to leadership, on this planet. If you want to get good at not ever having, what sales will do to you is it'll make sure that you're never ever broke again. Because learning how to actually walk up to people, talk to them, convey an idea, understand them, portray different perspectives without really shoving it at them and saying, is this something you might be interested in? When you learn how to do that, your life changes, because now you can make 10K a month no matter what, because there's always some type of product, some type of offer out there, whether it be houses, high ticket sales, whatever it is, that you can learn how to sell. So agents do not want to learn sales out of their own ignorance. Agents do not want to learn sales out of their own discomfort. I don't understand why people get into, honestly, an industry where you have such extreme upwards mobility like real estate, where there are realtors who make millions a year, okay? And to this point too, with online leads, you have teams like the Robert Slack team, you have teams like the Justin Havre team, and these two teams I just mentioned, they're the biggest of their size in North America. Both of them are doing hundreds and hundreds of deals per year, okay? They are literally the biggest team. I don't know what their exact number of production is. Robert Slack says that he does something like 125 firm deals per week, and he's based out of Florida. And then anybody who's in Calgary or Canadian has probably heard of Justin Havre. These are the biggest teams in North America, and they are running online leads. So if they're running online leads, you know, if the number one team is doing it, and I'll share with you why, but you should first understand that it does work. And I'll tell you why they do this, is because I've learned through working at our agency that what happens with teams is that it starts off with somebody working in the industry typically for 10 years or more. They have a really, really strong referral business network, but now they want to leave. Like, they want to get into, you know, maybe it's agent attraction, maybe they want to get into development, so they go to places like Nova Scotia, maybe they just want to get out of production and retire. But now they need to start building a team because they need to delegate their work, but they don't have anybody they can delegate it to, so they hire agents. And then eventually you hire one agent, they start to do really, really well, and you say, okay, well, now I got to hire a second agent. So you hire that second agent, but all of a sudden they don't have leads because your referral network is tapped out. So what is the next logical step? Lead generation. And then the question becomes, what do I do? And this is exactly what Robert Slack, Justin Havre, all these big teams will face, is they now need to find a sustainable, repeatable, high quality source of leads that they can scale with as many agents as they want to bring on. So why do you think Justin Havre and Robert Slack use online leads? Because it's the most scalable method. That's why they're using it. So what they do, and if you can go watch this, these are public videos. It's all on YouTube. Just type in Robert Slack or Justin Havre. What they do is they use Facebook ads and Google PPC, and they bring them to ISAs, and then the ISAs book them the calendar for their realtors to take onto appointments. It's that simple. And I think realtors love to overcomplicate online lead generation. I think it's just as simple as having a CRM that you know how to use. And I put a big asterisk on that because I'd argue that probably 90% of agents don't have a CRM that they know how to use, let alone have a CRM. And that is another huge problem I could probably talk about in another video. But if you can just figure out how to just have the simple CRM that you know how to use, and you can just stay consistent and you can dial, you will find success. It's exactly what my business partner did in the first year. 37 deals in 12 months, 92% of that coming from Facebook leads. Because you just stay consistent. And you'll never feel like you're consistent. I think that's one thing that you always feel like you could go back and do more, and I think a lot of the times that is the trait of a high performer in the first place. Is the reason they think like that is why they are where they're at. Is that, 37 deals isn't enough. Let me go for more. Whereas a lot of people, you give them the exact simple blueprint, but they just don't do it, and that's a whole nother topic. But the reason why online leads will not work for most people is because they don't want to get good at sales. In other words, they don't want to learn the highest value skill set. And I think a lot of realtors forget that you are in sales. Real estate agents are salespeople, and that shouldn't come to a surprise to anyone. And I think you just might forget it sometimes, because the truth about a real estate agent too is that you're also a business owner. If you're not part of a team and you're just doing this solo, you're running a business. You've got finances to do, taxes to file, budgets to create, operations to run, you've got marketing to do, you've got sales to do. You're literally running the whole ship. And if you're just one person, you're going to suck at a lot of them, because you're going to have to split your focus. And that doesn't mean you're not good at business. It just means you're somebody who's really overworked. So I think a lot of realtors too need to start treating their business like an actual business. And I see this in Bookmore showings. The people who come in with past business experience do extremely well, because they understand the different departments, they understand what the roles and responsibilities are, and they just approach it with discipline, right? They don't have to think about, should I do my dials today? That is a stupid question, Should you do your dials today? Of course you should do your dials today. What's going to happen to your business in 2 months if you don't do your dials today? You're not going to have any clients. And if you don't have any clients, you're not going to make any money. So why would you ask yourself such a dumb question? Anyways, the whole point is that realtors don't want to learn sales, and it is the crutch because 97% of online or of real estate sales starts from the online process. We're in 2024. Online is, the world is run by the internet. The car that I'm driving right now is connected to a browser, right? You're watching this on YouTube or social media. Why would you not think that the highest arbitrage opportunity for you to get business is online? And I get it. We can make this argument all the time of oh, I could deliver pies to people. I could do Popeyes. Everybody likes the human touch. I get it, of course. At the end of the day, real estate is done through the human touch. But it's not about where the sale is done. We're talking about marketing here. It's about where does it start. And for so many people, everything in their life starts online. When you think of a product, you go buy it on Amazon. When you're thinking of how to solve a problem, you're going on Google or ChatGPT or TikTok or Instagram. When you're buying a car, you're looking online. When you're buying a house, you're looking online. So why is it that people still don't understand, right? And maybe I'm different. Maybe because I was born in 97, I was privileged enough to get a computer at the age of 4. And I see how interconnected this world is, right? Everything is done online. And I'm sure a lot of the older generations don't agree with me. They think that this is we're in the age of AI, where a lot of the times when you're watching videos online, you can't actually even tell if it's a real person or not anymore. Yet we're having these arguments of what the best place is to find leads online. And I'm going to go on another tangent here and say that lead generation is extremely overrated. I think if anyone were to see what I'm doing, building a agency, I think from the outside, and this is really my fault, is I've branded ourselves as a lead generation company. But in recent months, I've started to pivot ourselves away from that because, truthfully, if I look at the internal reporting we do with our feedback, most people, they really, really appreciate the sales training more than anything. The lead generation is just kind of where we start. And I think a lot of the competing businesses out there today, lead generation is where they end because it's kind of their end-all be-all. They give you leads and you figure out the rest, and that's the success. Because I come from the real estate agent's perspective, for anyone who doesn't know, I've been a realtor since 2020. Because I come from this perspective, I see it differently. I understand that it doesn't matter how high quality the lead is if the person who picks up the phone sucks at talking to people. So that's why in our program, I've overemphasized this idea of giving sales training so much. And I think I see it in the feedback reports as well too, that people appreciate our sales training more than anything. If anything, it's the most valuable aspect of our program. Yes, we have all these fancy AI tools. Yes, we have a CRM. Yes, we have lead generation. Yes, we have the qual funnel. We have all these things. But what makes our agents successful is really the business training and the sales training. Because once again, this business is about sales. This business is about actually running a business. So if you don't have any of that, you're not going to succeed. So 87% of agents fail within the first 2 years. And a lot of the times it's just because they don't know sales. And you might be asking this, you might be at this point in the video wondering, okay, I get it, William, you've said this 6 times. How do I get good at sales? The obvious answer I'm going to give you is we teach that at Book More Showings. But if you want to get good at sales, it's one of those things where we can't just talk about it. It's a lot like dancing, where you and I can talk about dancing all the time. I can make YouTube videos on how to dance. But if you don't actually go and dance, you're not going to get good at dancing. And it's the same thing with sales. You can download all these programs, all these courses, Jeremy Miner, you can download hours, you can watch all the videos. But if you don't actually take the time to sit down and call people and be willing to fall flat on your face and be willing to take accountability for that, you will not make it. I'll be really honest with you. And it's going to be very, very hard for you to find success in real estate, especially if you're beginning or if you're really into it and you want to scale really, really far, like to doing millions of dollars per year. You cannot grow a business to millions of dollars per year unless you actually have people in it that are good at sales. And that's why so many realtors get stuck at that like 300,000 a year mark, 200,000 a year mark, or even way less than that, is simply because they're limited to doing the business with the people who they don't have to be good at sales with. And that sucks. Because if only you had learned the skill of sales, you now broaden your pool of people that you could be working with. And that is one of the biggest problems, I think, that plagues real estate agents. And I do my best. We try really, really hard at Book More Showings to teach people how to do sales. And I do think there are some hard cases out there of people who will, and it's really because they're in their own way that they will never ever learn how to get good at sales. If you've read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck, you'll come to my perspective knowing that I truthfully believe anybody can achieve anything in life that they want to achieve. But there are just those hard cases out there of people who they don't achieve anything because they don't want to learn how to do that. And usually that has to do with some type of trauma or some type of limiting belief. Maybe they hate money, like I used to hate it a while ago. Like there's a lot of beliefs that can come into your way that stop you from becoming good at sales. And a lot of the times it's, even things like self-consciousness. It's why people will be too afraid to get on the phone because they care more about the other person's opinion of what they're saying than actually delivering the news to them that's going to help them be successful. And that's a really, really hard thing to sink in. And I would re-listen to that if you didn't get it. It's that they care more about the other person's opinion than actually helping them. So therefore, they prioritize other people's opinions over helping other people. In other words, helping other people making money. They care more about other people's opinions than actually making money. And that's why it really, really sucks to be in that position. And it's why you will be capping your income. Nobody else is doing it for you. Like there's people in our program. One of the guys I know in our program who made multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in his case studies on our website. If I remember correctly from my first meeting with him, he used to work in a club, right? He used to work in the service industry, working late night, talking with people. So imagine somebody like that going into real estate. Do you think they're going to be good at sales? Of course they are, right? A lot of these people, ex-business people, ex-salespeople, car sales, like when I hire agents, I want them to be from car sales. Because I know if you know how to approach people and sell cars, you can come take that exact skill set, put it in real estate, and make way more money. So this has just been a really long rant on some of the things I've been thinking about on sales in general, and it's just the fact of the matter is that people love to talk shit about online leads, and they say, oh, it's bad, it's the worst quality leads. And yeah, you know what? It's never going to compare to something like a referral, but your referrals will never scale to this level. And there's a reason why the biggest teams who are doing more deals than you, there's a reason why they use online leads. It's because it's scalable, it's repeatable, and it works. And if you say anything otherwise, it's because you're just pushing an agenda. You're pushing an agenda that you want the agents on your team to believe so that they stay with you. You're pushing an agenda so that you can push a course or a program that serves your best benefit. And I'll be honest with you guys, if door knocking was the best way to get money in real estate, I would be teaching that all day at Book More Showings. I would be teaching people how to approach doors. I would be teaching people what to wear, etc. But it's not. So that's why I teach people how to do online leads. It's because it's the easiest and most scalable way to start making a bunch of money fast. We made $1 million in GCI in less than 3 years doing that. So, why can't you do that, right? I was 23 years old when I started this. So, there's a lot of you who, I used to be afraid to pick up the phone. I was that guy who cared more about other people's opinions than actually doing the sale. So, that being said, I'm here at the office. I'm gonna get back to work. And I hope at least this rant gave you some perspective. A lot of YouTube videos, if you want to give me ideas, please put it down below. If you want to become a part of a community that can actually teach you a lot of these sales things that I'm talking about, how to generate leads, and really just how to run a business in general, check out bookmoreshowings.com. That's where you can find me. I run coaching calls still at this point. If you have video ideas, put them down below. If you enjoy this, push like, it'd be really helpful. And of course, I'm going to have different videos as well, where I'm not really just ranting in a car, but I'm more so giving visuals, talking about systems and things like that on a computer. So hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.